Hi, my name is James Lockman, and I'm a solutions consultant here at Adobe Systems. And right now, let's talk about the Content Collector. The Content Collector is a new tool that appears in InDesign CS6, and it allows you to take content from one document and move it to another document while maintaining connections between those two things. We'll call them parent and child relationships for the purpose of this talk. In InDesign, you'll find the Content Collector here, and it's right there. You can see it there. And if we turn it on, you can see that I've already collected some content into my content collector. And I can do that by turning on the content collector and then hovering my mouse over an object that I'd like to collect into the content collector. In this case, I'll grab that text frame that's right there, slide the content collector out of the way so you can see the whole thing. And if we tap it, you can see that I've got that loaded up inside of my content collector. Now I can switch modes between collecting and depositing. You can see down here there's a button. It becomes the content placer tool, and it behaves much like the place gun that you might be used to with the normal file place mechanism. Now that I have it in place mode, I can begin to place content onto the page. If I move my cursor out, you can see it looks like a place gun. I can use my arrow keys. Here's the right arrow to move through it, move back again. All right, and if I tap, all right, so all I've got to do is tap, and my object is placed. Now it maintains all of the original attributes of the image or the text frame or whatever it is, and allows me then to manipulate that object after the fact. However, remember that I said parent and child. What I'd like to do is undo a couple of times here and kind of clear things out. So all I've got to do is switch back there. I'll undo. That's going to load that back up into the content collector. And since the content collector isn't open, it's not going to place anything at this point. I've already used the content collector to make copies of these two objects. I've got right up there and right down here. I have options with those collected and placed objects, those children. And those are available, the options are available in the links panel. I can select this one right here and open up my links panel. You'll see there's link options right there. When I turn on link options, you can see that I have the ability to preserve local edits when updating object links. You can see that there, and we'll zoom in for clarity. What I can do here is to enable overrides, and as I hover over each of these items, we can see exactly what's going to be preserved. In this case, I've chosen to preserve size and shape, which of course is rotation, scaling, skewing, so on and so forth, of the container itself, of the frame. If I preserve its appearance, and it's going to maintain any adjustments that were made to it, such as the stroke or the fill, if I put an effect on it, and in this case you can see that I've got some dotted lines going around it. I have a dotted line going around there, and I also have a drop shadow put on. If I have interactive content, if I have animations or buttons or form elements, those types of things, and I move them from one place to another, I can override them or I can keep them bound again. Down here I have the actual content, so this might be an image that was put in there or some HTML. If I have individual items in a group, it would maintain the contents of that. And then lastly, I have this Others checkbox, which talks about things that aren't included there, such as text frame options or maybe the export settings, things like that. When you look at what's available here, this really talks about InDesign's document structure and the fact that each object is an addressable object inside of InDesign, so all of the attributes that you might see when defining styles are also preserved here inside of that parent-child relationship. When you look at an object style or if you look at a text style, then you'll see all of the different attributes that are maintained in InDesign for a given object. This is pretty exciting stuff. Well, for me anyway. I don't know about for you. Anyway, so let's see the results of some of these settings. You can see here that I have some link objects that I've determined for this one here and for that one, and here are the given settings. So I'll move out of the way there. You can see how they're there. What I want to do is to make an adjustment to my image over there on the left. We'll make a couple. The first thing that we're going to do is to replace the image with something else. Okay, so now we have a definitely different picture in that frame. Since I've made that change to the parent, then we can see that the children will respond. In this case, I've changed the contents, and so this child says, hey, wait a minute, look up there, there's a little affordance that tells us to update. It's telling us that the content of the frame has changed. In this case, we've told it not to worry about the frame content, so I get no update notification. Now I'll change the shape of the frame. In this case, both of them light up as having been changed because I've made adjustments to the shape. And in this case, you can see that it says size and shape are allowed to propagate, and so this one lit up to tell me there was a change. This one doesn't care about size and shape, and so it will not adjust. Let's update these two links and see the results right now. There we go. It says that edits have been made. I'm going to update them. I know that I will lose them, and that's all right. So having made the change, some things have happened. First of all, down here, I told it not to preserve size and shape, and so look what happened. The size and shape of the box now match the original size and shape over there. In this case, I told it to leave my adjustments to size and shape, but replace the frame content with the new frame content. Let's make a further adjustment and see what happens. Going back to my original frame, we'll change the color and the type of the line outside. You can see that obvious change. This one has lit up because it's telling us that appearance is not overridden or is not allowed to override. In this case, appearance is allowed to override, and so that's okay. This is the only one that needs to update. Having updated it, you can see that we've now taken on the new appearance, and hopefully you're getting a good sense of how these different options work. So I encourage you to take a look at the content collector, use it to move some content, particularly images, maybe some frames that you might have built and styled inside of InDesign. Move them from one place to another. You can even try this, by the way, with documents that are not the same document, right? So you can be looking at one document and then you can have another one open and you can collect between the two. Go ahead and make some changes to the first, play with the link options, and then you'll get a really good sense as to what is preserved when you move from one document to another. This is really exciting technology that's available inside of InDesign. It definitely changes the way that we think about links between documents, right? Where links used to be just about an image. Now it's about the image and its attributes, or the frame and its attributes, or the frame and its content, depending on how we want to bind it. And it certainly takes InDesign and makes it behave a lot more like we would think in terms of the web, like cascading styles. And so we can see that we have cascading styles not only for web content, but also here for object content that's moving between documents or being related between documents in InDesign.